The world never expected a quiet suburban night to unravel into one of the most haunting mysteries of our time. A woman vanishes without a trace, leaving behind a shattered family, a locked house that hides more questions than answers, and whispers of betrayal echoing through the community. Police swarm the scene, cameras flash, and investigators dig deep. But every clue seems to lead into a darker maze. Was it a crime of passion? A carefully orchestrated disappearance? Or something far more sinister? Tonight, we step into the shadows of a case that shocked the world and refuses to let go. Don't miss out on the next chilling mystery. Hit subscribe and tap the bell icon so you're the first to know when new stories drop. At first glance, everything seemed ordinary. The neighborhood was the kind where families waved from driveways, children rode bikes until sunset, and nothing ever truly changed. At the heart of it stood her, a devoted wife in her late 20s, kind eyes, quiet smile, and a reputation for being reliable. Friends described her as the person you could call at midnight, and she'd still show up without hesitation. Her husband, a man in his early 30s with a polished demeanor and ambitious career, was equally admired. Together, they appeared picture perfect, an enviable couple with steady jobs, a neat home, and no visible cracks. But perfection is rarely more than a mask. Neighbors later recalled subtle things they had ignored: hushed arguments behind closed doors, blinds pulled tightly in broad daylight, and the wife sometimes seen wandering the street late at night, as if searching for something or someone. Even her closest friends admitted she'd recently seemed distant, preoccupied, almost haunted. The night before she vanished, she had made a phone call, short, hurried, and unusually tense. No one knew who she spoke to, or why her voice carried such urgency. What was said in those final words remains a mystery. By morning, her car sat untouched in the driveway. The doors to the house were locked, and the woman who had once been the anchor of her family was simply gone. The investigation began with urgency. Detectives combed through the house, searching for signs of a break-in, but every door and window was secure. Nothing appeared stolen, no forced entry, no overturned furniture. To the casual eye, it looked like she had simply stepped outside and vanished. But seasoned investigators knew better. Silence often hides the loudest truths. Her phone was discovered on the nightstand, still plugged in, untouched since that final mysterious call. Her purse and wallet rested neatly on the dresser. There was no sign she had planned to leave. Yet, her wedding ring was missing. For detectives, it was a chilling contradiction. Had she taken it off in defiance, or had someone else removed it? Neighbors' statements painted a portrait of unease. One recalled hearing muffled shouting just past midnight. Another swore they saw the glow of headlights leaving the driveway at an odd hour. But security cameras from surrounding houses showed nothing. No cars, no movements, no proof. It was as if the night had swallowed every trace. Then came the husband's alibi. He insisted he was working late, arriving home past midnight to find everything in order. Calm, composed, and cooperative, he answered every question. Yet detectives couldn't ignore how rehearsed his words felt. In the interrogation room, his steady tone clashed with the subtle tightening of his jaw, the restless tap of his fingers against the table. Something in his composure seemed too perfect. The search widened. Forests nearby were combed with search dogs, volunteers scoured riverbanks, and helicopters swept across fields. Still, there was nothing. The deeper they searched, the colder the trail became. But behind the scenes, investigators uncovered a thread: financial troubles. Despite their polished appearance, the couple was drowning in debt, and recent phone records revealed late-night calls to an unknown number, a contact saved only under a single initial. Could she have been planning to escape? Was she meeting someone in secret? Or had her disappearance been staged by the very person who swore to love her most? Each discovery only twisted the case further. Every clue that surfaced was matched by a contradiction. Every lead dissolved into another dead end. It was no longer just a missing persons case. It was a puzzle drenched in secrecy, betrayal, and shadows that grew darker with every unanswered question. Weeks into the investigation, the case took a turn no one expected. A forensic sweep of the house revealed something investigators had overlooked. Faint traces of bleach on the bedroom carpet, carefully scrubbed, but not enough to erase under ultraviolet light. The spotless home, once praised for its order, now looked staged, sterile, almost too perfect. But the breakthrough came from phone records. That mysterious initial wasn't a stranger at all. It belonged to a woman in her early 30s, someone the husband knew well. She wasn't just a contact, she was his coworker. And behind the polished image of a devoted marriage, an affair had been quietly unfolding. When detectives brought this new lead forward, the husband's calm exterior finally began to crack. He denied everything, but his story faltered. His supposed late-night work shift had no record. Security logs showed he had left the office hours earlier than he claimed. The timeline he built so carefully collapsed in on itself. Even more damning, traffic cameras caught his car near the forest the same night his wife vanished. For days, he had been the grieving husband, the man urging the community to search, the one offering teary-eyed pleas for his wife's safe return. But now, the mask slipped. His alibi shattered, his secrets exposed. The picture-perfect life he worked so hard to protect was nothing but smoke and mirrors. The community that once admired him now turned in horror. The betrayal was more than personal. It was devastating. This wasn't just a missing woman. This was a story of obsession, deception, and the ultimate act of control. Today, the story has settled into a chilling silence, but its echoes remain. The husband, once celebrated as a model citizen, now sits behind bars, his life defined by steel bars and a ticking clock. Inside his cell, he is no longer the confident man the community once admired, but a figure of regret, or perhaps just a man trapped by his own lies. The coworker, unwillingly thrust into the spotlight, lives in isolation. Though cleared of direct involvement, whispers still follow her. Neighbors look twice, colleagues keep their distance, and her name has become forever tied to a crime she never expected to be part of. The wife's absence is the heaviest shadow of all. Her body was never found. Without it, the case remains incomplete, haunting both investigators and family. A grave was built anyway, a marker without a body, where flowers still appear on anniversaries, placed by hands that refuse to forget. The neighborhood, once warm and ordinary, carries an unease that lingers even years later. The house remains empty, unsold, windows gathering dust, blinds still drawn tight. Some say they avoid walking past it at night, as if the air itself remembers. And so the questions remain. What truly happened in those missing hours? Did the husband act alone? Or is there another secret still buried in silence? What began as a love story unraveled into betrayal, loss, and a mystery that refuses to rest. Time has moved forward, but the shadows of that night remain, etched forever into the hearts of those who lived it. Some stories fade with time, their edges softened by memory, but this one refuses to disappear. Instead, it lingers like a shadow, haunting the people who lived through it, tormenting investigators who never found all the answers, and unsettling strangers who stumble across the case even years later. The husband remains imprisoned, but with no body ever found, a part of the truth will forever remain locked away. Was justice truly served, or is there more buried beneath the silence? The coworker has tried to rebuild her life, yet the weight of association is a burden she can never put down. And the wife's family, they live with an endless ache, trapped between grief and hope, unable to lay her fully to rest. The house still stands, empty and unwelcoming, a silent monument to secrets that were never meant to be uncovered. Some say when they pass by at night, they feel watched. Others claim the air grows colder near its gates, whether superstition or memory. One thing is certain, the story has scarred the community forever. And maybe that's what makes this case so chilling. Not just the betrayal, not just the lies, but the unanswered questions that keep scratching at the edges of truth. Questions that remind us how fragile the line between love and danger really is. So ask yourself, when someone you think you know hides a darker side, how long before the mask slips? With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.